Hey, how's it going? Brian Bowman here, and I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to hop on and talk about a few things. I just got done filming a training for our eCom intensive guys, and there's one particular piece of this that I want to talk about because if you get this dialed in, it really is the first domino. It's the big domino that will give you not only sales and help you build your business, but when you think about building a brand, when you think about building real relationship with your customers, it starts here. This is the big domino that knocks down everything else. Or actually, in some ways, you could even think of it as the inverse. It's really the small domino that could ultimately have the big impact. I don't know if you've ever seen that. If not, go check out this video. There's a lot of variations of this video, but they start with a little tiny domino. It's like this little tiny one, and you knock that down, and I don't know the exact math, I can't remember, but essentially a small domino can knock down something that's, I don't know how many times bigger, maybe 10 times bigger. So it's this little tiny one and it'll knock it down, and then it knocks down another one, but that one can knock down one that's 10 times bigger, which can knock down one that's 10 times bigger, 10 times bigger, 10 times bigger. And it's pretty remarkable. I know it's something crazy, like if you start with a domino that is half an inch tall, within I think like 15 dominoes you can knock down the Empire State Building or something. It's something really crazy. It's really cool. So as an aside, go check that out after this. But I wanted to talk about it. I think that's actually a better illustration because it doesn't take a big first domino. And I want to talk about is this audience piece. It doesn't take a first big domino to have this huge impact. And you really should be thinking the long game. How could you be building a real brand, a real community, and longevity? The success is in the long game. Everyone has short-term thinking, and you really want to have long-term thinking. So that's one of the core things we talk about in the intensive. If it's something you're interested in, if you already are selling products, if you already are a brand owner and you want to scale and you're looking for a system to scale and a process, then you may be a great fit for the intensive, maybe not. But the best way to find out is you can go to ecomcasestudy.com. So ecomcasestudy.com, 1M. And there's a video case study there and all the information. So you go check that out at ecomcasestudy.com. But what I really want to talk to you about is the Ecom Vital Few, but this piece right here. So like I said, I just finished filming a training for the guys, and the Ecom Vital Few, really quickly, is the framework that we use to decide what is worth our time and attention and what isn't. What is a distraction and what actually is going to move the needle in your business. So this is the litmus test that I want you to use for everything you do in your business and building your brand. Does it help me build an audience? And this might be backwards, so sorry about that. Does this help me build an audience? Does it help me increase conversion? So do I have a process to take my audience and turn them into customers? When they become customers, does the system that you're building or the thing you're looking at, or the technology you're considering, does it help me increase average order value? And ultimately, does it help me increase frequency of purchase? In other words, is there a way to build that bond, nurture that bond, and bring them back to convert, increase average order value, bring them back, and form this virtuous cycle? So this is important, and it's a different day we could talk about the other pieces, but this right here is what I want to talk about. It's the audience building piece. And it really is, like I said, it's the small domino that, if you've ever heard of the concept of 1,000 true fans, I forgot the gentleman who wrote the piece, but it was an essay that essentially, if you have 1,000 true fans, and these are people who are diehard fans, they truly love your brand, they love your mission, they love what you stand for, they know your propositions by heart, they know everything that you do. That's all you need to build a business. Now, of course, you can scale beyond that, but if you just have 1,000 true fans, you have a legitimate business and you can change your life. If you're thinking about going from not being an entrepreneur to being one, you don't need millions and millions of people. You just need that first small domino, and that'll cascade, and that could eventually end up knocking down a massive domino like the Empire State Building and making a huge splash in your space or in your market. But it's critical that you start building this audience, and the platform doesn't matter. The technology used doesn't matter. You want to use Facebook Lives, use Facebook Lives. You want to use Facebook Group, you want to build an email list, you want to build a messenger list. There's so many different ways to do it. But what's most important is that you start. and you start small. It does not matter, but it's really interesting because I think a lot of people are nervous to start or maybe don't know where to start, especially when it comes to like video or like podcasting or something like that. But what's interesting is that that nervousness you have is actually one of the best things going for you, because that's authentic. With so much noise in the marketplace, people want to connect with people. They want to connect with authentic people, authentic brands. Why do you think these small brands can come out of nowhere and start chipping away at the edges of the big brands, the Procter & Gamble's, the Colgate's, the Unilevers, the PNC's, right? Like, or P&G, like Procter & Gamble, like they can chip away at the edges and ultimately start gaining real market share. I mean, how does a company, and again, you may or may not be in a situation where you want to be this big, but think about it. How does a company like Honest Company come in and have and ultimately take this massive market share away from these dominant players that have, really dominated the industry? And it's a lot to do with messaging. It's a lot to do with branding, obviously, but the more that you can connect with your audience and start building this bond and building rapport, building that trust, this is what the tech that we have now allows us to do that none of us could do just 5 years ago, but certainly not 15 years ago. I mean, now I think it's something that everyone truly has access to. I think there were a few people early on that understood what the internet could be and what tech could do for them, and 10 years ago really started leveraging audiences. But it's not too late, and you can do it right now. And I believe it's critical, and we live in an amazing time where we can start doing this today. Like, you literally can start doing this today. One of the things we talk about in the intensive is leveraging Facebook groups because of all the engagement. We've seen this over and over again. There's tons of success when you take your customers and put them into a Facebook group and then they invite their friends. We have this concept called the birds of a feather principle that we use in the intensive, where we know that people with similar interests flock together. So they will bring their friends in. And the more authentic you can be and the more real you can be, the more you're going to build that bond. And then people will be happy to convert. They'll be happy to do business with you. Because at the end of the day, they're going to do business with someone. If they're really into yoga, then they're going to buy yoga things, right? If they're really into whatever it might be, working out, or they're into fishing, or they're into, whatever the niche is that you serve, they will ultimately want to buy. They will buy. And they will be happy to buy from someone that they've formed some kind of relationship with. If they know a little bit about you, if they get kind of behind the scenes of what's happening, that's how you start nurturing a relationship. It's like any other relationship. What are the things it takes? It takes consistency, it takes time, and it takes real authenticity. Think of the friendships you have that really are meaningful. They took time. They take consistency. So it's not just the amount of time. Okay, it takes 6 months. It took seeing the person over again, over and over again. And over time, we start opening up a little bit more. And that's how the bond is built. And this is just an amazing time we live in, that we can start doing this. We can do it from our phone. We can do it from our laptop. We can do it anywhere. You can do it, on the road. You can be traveling, and you can really start building this audience nationwide, worldwide, regionally, wherever market your product serves. So I just want to really encourage you to do that. Don't worry about the tech. Don't worry about if it's right or wrong. Are you saying the right thing? Are you saying the wrong thing? Don't worry about any of that. Just show up every day and start providing value. Really provide real value for people in the niche, in that market that you serve. And they will pay you back first with their attention, which, by the way, is an exchange of value. I'll tell you right now, this time right now that you're giving me, I understand it's an exchange of value. I'm doing my best to serve you, to give you something that is real value that I know will benefit your business. And there is an exchange of value right now because you're giving me your time. And I value that tremendously. And your audience will do the same for you. And that's the first exchange. And they will put what you said into practice, or you'll give them some insight or some idea or something to help them get progress to move them forward. And that's the beginning of a moment of truth. See, we have touch points all the time with our audience. We've got, you could send emails. You could have video. You could send, we could do direct mail, right? There's so many things we could do. You could have a podcast, whatever it is. All these are touch points, touch point, touch point, touch point. When they first see your ad, that's a touch point. When they first come into your group, that's a touch point. When they get your email, that's a touch point. When they hear your podcast, that's a touch point. Whatever vehicle you're using, it doesn't matter. Every single touch point, though, is an opportunity for a moment of truth. It's a moment where people go, huh, I like that. This person's different. Wow, they really care. Wow, I've never heard that before. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be this huge, moment of enlightenment, but it really is a moment of truth. And that's how that bond starts to form. Just like in real relationships, right? You have an amazing conversation, you have an amazing lunch with someone. You're like, man, I want to hang out with Ted again. I want to hang out with Michelle again, right? And that same thing will start to happen with your audience. But the beauty is, because of technology, because of the power that we have now with just these phones, right? And just the tech that's available, we can do it at scale, yet still make it one-to-one. This is one of the reasons I love Messenger if done correctly. But anyway, I don't want to get in the weeds because it really doesn't matter about the specific tech. I promise you. What matters is your intention, that you truly want to serve. And honestly, I would tell you that, yes, you can build a brand in anything. Listen, there's plenty of people making tons of money selling whatever, right? And that is one thing you can do. But the journey starts to get really fun, and you start, people wonder, like, how do you get motivated? Listen, I wake up fired up every day because I truly enjoy serving my audience. I love what I'm doing because of the people that I get to hang out with every day. And there's like an X factor there where you don't have to be super passionate about yoga, right? I mean, it's something you're into, but if you really are into the people that are on the other end listening, if you're really at the other end, giving them value, insight, and wanting to help them progress on their journey, man, it gets really, really fun. So I would encourage you as an extra bonus, that's like an extra like X factor, an extra incentive that'll make this whole ride, it'll make it a blast. You don't need it. There are plenty of people who can do well, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of money and you're going to end up thinking, man, is this really what I really want to be doing? And there's something really special about, again, not being super nerding out about the actual thing. If that's your thing, that's great. But if you can actually have the customer in mind or the prospect in mind, and like, man, how do I really serve them? How do I give them some insight today? You get motivated from within, and it's an awesome ride. So in any case, that's like a little extra special deal. The main thing is start building an audience, because that's the little domino. It's this little tiny domino that can knock down a bigger one, that can knock down a bigger one, and ultimately that can knock down that Empire State Building. So, and by the way, go check that video out. It's very, very cool if you watch it. Just think like increasing dominoes or something. I don't know what you got to look up. In any case, go implement that. Hope that helps. And again, if you're interested in our eCom intensive, you can go to ecomcasestudy.com, ecomcasestudy.com. There's a video case study. You'll get details on, the system, what we do, and then you'll have a chance to book a call with us. No obligation or anything. Leave your credit card at home just to see if it's a good fit. So if you have a brand, you want to scale it, we definitely have a system that can help. Otherwise, go start building that audience, and I will see you on the next video. All right, bye.